So, yeah, sorry about
No, it's okay.
the delay on everything here. So let me load this up. Let's see. First thing I need to do is get VPN over.
Hmm.
And then do and where I want to go is instead of typing all that crap, let me just do that. Come here and paste. All right, that gets me started. Here I is with this, and away we go. Let me see. This is working. Let's see. That's 1236. 701. These can actually go away. So I worked with this stuff some last night and actually didn't ran into some plotting symbology issues I had to struggle with. So I may need to also send you my plot configuration file. We'll take care of that
Okay.
later,
Yep. Cool.
like another day.
Hmm.
Um, and it's no big deal. You can just copy it and paste it where it needs to go. Now, uh, here's what I'm doing. All right, so plan sheets. We'll get that going in a session, and then I'm going to also get profile sheets in 2 sessions. So let's let those load, and I'll show
Okay.
you what I've gotten done here.
Hey, I was in Ghent this morning just because we and I were talking about it last night. But I was in Ghent looking at the actual files for SR-118, where the actual Northing and Eastings come from, and they're different a little bit from what we actually had printed on that original form.
Well, yeah, what's printed is what the surveyors used.
Right.
So, but what you should see if you're in Ghent, when you look at those northings and eastings, you should you should see whatever it is that Jeremy's using, or wherever he's put them.
Okay.
That should be what.
Hello.
Yep.
Yes, it
So,
is. Oh, all right. Thanks so much. I'll be in to get it. Yep. Bye. Sorry.
no worries. All right.
Okay.
So, oh gosh, excuse me. All right. So here's what I did on the profile bit,
Hmm.
and I'll show you what I wound up doing. Let's see. This is point one. Oops. Okay. So here is the first profile sheet that has B1, B2, and B4
Hmm.
on it in the profile drawings. Now, this is where we had everything we dumped in. We had all those different
Right.
scales and all that crap going on. So what I did was I took all that out and I went back and brought the referencing in here into this default uh, model. Okay. And so this, um, that proposed side street 01.dgn,
Hmm.
what's referenced here. When you look right there,
Right.
proposed side road. All right, so that is that, and it is with live nesting. Oops, hang on. There we go. So it is with live nesting and a nesting depth of 1 so that it picks up the border sheet that's also referenced into this.
Hmm.
In fact, let me open this up and you can see what's all nested. So here's my this is the file proposed side road DGN, and it has all of these reference files in it.
Hmm.
There's a proposed EMB which they didn't send, and so it's not found, but it says that it's
Right.
not
Part of it.
displayed anyway. So okay, just leave it referenced there. It's fine. But there's the border, and they referenced a proposed geometry. Now, the proposed geometry is like, remember it's way down here.
Hmm.
Okay. So I don't really even need that if I'm just doing this, but and I've got a you see the boundary here. There you go. Got a a clip boundary around that file anyway, so it cuts out all that other stuff. So that is what's going on with that. Now, the there's this profile Meeker Road realigned, which is where they were getting where he had this from something else.
Hmm.
Okay, so he's using this in his actual profile stuff. So all of these on-off states are taken from what he had already anyway. So that particular one is not used, even though it's attached in its depth. This is the one. Now notice you see it's from the same DGN file.
Hmm.
You see, and then but it's just I think it is. Let's see. Yeah, Meek profile Meeker Road realigned. There's profile Meeker Road realigned. So he's referenced it in twice, but he's moved it to like one's at one spot, and it
Right.
basically just a different set of nomenclature. This is the one that actually works. This one is the one that had that.
Okay.
All right, so this is the money maker, and so there's the money maker as far as geometry goes. Here's the money maker for the axis. And again, it's the same road or the same file, but it's the one where he's got the axis information separate. All right, so he's clipped everything out and done all that for us. And so we're going to use that same technique on these other sheets.
Okay.
Now, the same thing applies here for Market Street. And then there's its axis. Now, PRO1 is our profile 01, which doesn't show up anywhere. PRO1. Yeah, see, that is PRO1. I don't know where it is. I don't think it has anything showing in it. So even though it's on. And then finally, the border. Okay, so that's everything that's referenced into proposed side road 01. All right, so we're going to do that for each one of our sheet. We're going to reference that proposed side road 02 and whatever, and then the main line. We're going to reference them right into this default model in this file. We'll put the one here. We'll put the next one, down underneath it. We'll move it and do all that. So I'm going to go back up to my main sheet here. And now you can see that is scaled 1-to-1. And it has nothing. It's at the same location in the X, but I moved it in the Y. Now, what I did was I drew this line here. Well, first of all, I drew all of this stuff, and that's native in this model, okay? And it's on a level called C profile axis. And if you look at C profile axis, you see that it is not plottable. So it won't plot, nor will street name. So what I did with that is I've got this here so I can use that for, this is my 5 times scaling. And I first drew this line off of this axis here, and then I moved it to the same, I kept it X, Y, or X direction, but I moved, if you look down here now at where I snapped, tentative snap there, the Y location is 1280. So I wouldn't necessarily have needed to have done that. But anyway, that's where this one got moved to. So we're just going to keep this. So that's at 1280. Then when that went to 1280, because this Y was originally something like 427246188, I moved this reference file. I just did a move on the reference file, and I moved it from here, and I entered a coordinate to keep the same X, but moved to the Y location of this line, which was way down here at 1280. See, this file was originally way up here. So I moved all that, and that got everything lined up right there on that line. Okay. Then I drew this line, and remember, we're 5 times scaled vertically. And so that's 1280, 85, 90, 95. Right here's my 1300 line, 05, 1310. So at 1306, see this elevation, 1306.3. That's right where that is. So what I did then was I took these blue lines and I started here at 1300 and I moved parallel that line from the 1300 spot 6.3, whatever the elevation actually is, like 2729 or something. Um, multiplied that number by 5, and that's the amount I moved it up. Did the same thing for this one at its elevation.
Okay.
Moved it up. Okay. Now you notice these are still from the profile. Okay,
Hmm.
so they're there. And it all looks all sort of jumbled together. It looks visually the same. We fixed all that in the drawing sheet. But anyway, so I did that. Then I took all this green stuff and I mirrored it about the middle of this line here. So it flipped on the other side because this datum is also 1280. It's
Okay.
1280, there's 1300. So I did the same thing with that. I then offset that line up 16.3 times 5 from the 1300. That set that up. Then the stations, there's my station value for that one, the station value for that one. And you see, I put my reference down here at 20 and
Mm.
I went over that offset. Now that I didn't multiply by 5 because horizontally we're still the same. Okay. Now all of these things are on level C profile axis, which is not plotting, but it's going to show just so it's there by reference. Okay, same as these clip boundaries. Now, so that set all that up. And then in the sheet itself, I had nothing. And I just went to attach and I attached itself, this same drawing file, and the model that I attached was the default model. That's this one that we just were looking at. And I put its live nesting in, but it has a live nesting depth of 2, so that when it references its model, it's going to pick up all of the references that are in model. That's level 1. And then for each of those references, it's going to dive down and go another level deep. Okay, so that's picking up those sub-references, in which case you can see. See, here's my first one. That's the overall model. And it had in it referenced only the proposed side road and the 3 boring sheets. But the proposed side road had in it, there's all of those things that we looked at before. That's
Hmm.
the border and then all of the profile information.
Right.
Okay. So that's what's in this file. Now, the rest of this stuff, you see, I've changed the levels and the weights and all that stuff. So it's going to plot, this will show up gray.
Hmm.
Now, what I had to do, because when they put this thing together, they put these things in here like a weight of 2, which just makes things way too heavy
Hmm.
for our plots. So I had to go back into these files and I just went here and activated and
So you
you know,
just turned them down then?
yeah, I went in like this. So what I had to do was, because originally it had a hard-coded weight, but I set and I selected, everything in
Right.
there, and I set its color and its weight to be by level, because before they had a specific color and a specific weight and it wasn't changing with my, and the reason I'm doing that is because when I plot these things, I plot by level definition,
Right.
whereas they had this thing done uh, with level overrides.
Hmm.
Yeah, so all of those things were different. So they had level overrides defined, but then I didn't want to go back through and read redefine all the
Right.
levels with properties. So
Right.
I'm just doing it with my level definitions. Um, Here, let me get out of this file. So I'm here, and your greens and blues and reds, which are also in the profile model, those are just labels so I can remember which
Right.
profile I'm taking these from, okay?
Yep.
Now, from there, right there I'm working, and for here, I'm going to go up to soil profile. All right, so I'm going to open this up a minute. All right, so here is all of the or the points and their station and offset, northing, easting, and elevation. And these are the northing and eastings are the ones, or first of all, let me back up here. These locations are where those little blue circles are from the Ghent database.
Okay.
Okay. So what I did, go ahead and enable editing here. I don't know why they do it this way. It always comes in, or it's not shared. All right. Anyway, so what I did was I found all that stuff based on those points. Now, uh, what I did for that is I did each one of these was a separate spreadsheet, and I just copied those tabs from those individual sheets into this overall global sheet.
Mm-hmm.
So here's our main line. There's 811, 813, 1049, and 901.
Okay.
Now those come from, go back to our horizontal, and let's open.
So where did the borehole actually information come from? Do we provide that, or is that coming from the client?
Well, no, we provide that. All right,
Okay.
so let me load up borehole. Oops, sorry, wrong folder. In references, here's our borehole location. And I'll go back to geotechnical. I'll explore on, and these were those borehole numbers. Now, all of this data, when I opened up this connectivity, when I opened up that file, okay, that was the Ghent file, and I've opened up the database. So now any changes I make in here are going to
Right.
update the database, but we're going
Okay.
to leave that alone. Now, so what I did before, when you look at this file, my attachments here, the only thing I attached was this proposed geometry. Now, this was what was causing our problem earlier,
Okay.
because I was using the existing geometry and not the proposed geometry. And the
Okay.
existing geometry had this one going all the way down here to station 10.
You're right. Right.
Okay. And this one came up here and ended and all that. Remember they said
Right.
it carried on. So now I've got that figured out.
Okay.
And so then what I did was I took each of these let's go to this file now. So now here's my proposed geometry. And they had the center line data drawn, okay, just on this level as individual sticks. They had the tangent, they had the arc, the tangent, blah, blah, blah. So what I did was in OpenRoads modeling on the geometry tab, and let's look at the OpenRoads model. I've got these alignments that are all defined as alignment 5 alternate, and I've got SRA 018, 1049, 10, T700, 811, 813, and 901. So all of those individual sticks I made into individual alignments.
Okay.
And I did that from this right here, complex by element. And when you do that, it's going to prompt you for a feature definition. That's where I used that feature definition. And then I gave it a name. I said SR0018 and T811, whatever it is each time I did it. And then when I gave it a name, it prompts you down here to locate the first element. So you pick that element, and then you can pick all the ones individually. You conclude it, and that creates that as an alignment with that feature definition, which is what this is. And it starts it off with station 00. So then what I did was I took, if you remember, this one had the 6, which was bogus,
Right.
but 50.
Right.
So I measured that distance, subtracted it from 600, and gave that as a starting station, which I modified each of those with start station. And I put in, like the last one I did was 50, which was this one over here, I think. Yeah, starts at 50, goes this way. So I started that with 50, I picked it, and it just reassigned it. So now the stationing lines up with each of those, and they're defined as alignments. Okay. So now that I have those defined, let's go back to our borehole model. Okay, so there's that. Now, let me look at something here. Yeah, so here is this in 3D, in the 3D model of this file, which didn't really need that. There's B1, B2, 3, 4, and 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's all our boreholes in 3 dimensions, because when we put that in from Ghent, we do that query, it creates that 3D. And so this actually should probably, we'll call that 3D. 3D model, just instead of untitled. And then I put this one in this section model, which was a file that he had, or not drawn, but I did that then from Ghent. I went to this and I said create cross section, and I chose the models or the individual boreholes. So it's lining these up. So if you look at this elevation, see down there 1306.27. and this one is 13.21. So it places those in, and gives me a grid and stationing and all that for where it, where it's supposed to be. And this one is just something I was using to check with. I don't need it. But if we had all of the data, all of the strata information in the borehole database,
Mm-hmm.
you would see all of that stuff show up. The stick would have a certain width and you'd see and then it would connect all the strata lines together. Same thing, there's a fence diagram that you can do the same thing with multiples and it creates, so if I do let's do this, the 2D design model. Let's add another design model and we'll call it fence diagram. Now let's turn off our grid, turn on our fill. And now if we say create a fence diagram, it's going to ask me to pick. So what I'm going to do first is under items. Oh, wait a minute. Create a fence diagram. It's only available in 3D model. Ah, duh. Yes. Make a new 3D. Sorry about that. Call that fence diagram. Okay, so now create a fence diagram. And cross-section selection mode is all. I think, let me see. All right. And data point to accept. Now, see, it said failed to attach the fence diagram. That's because it didn't find any of that information. But what a fence diagram is, when you look at this model, the actual placement of these in three-dimensional space.
Mm-hmm.
And you could have had some like over in here, over in here. And what it does is it connects each one of these together. And if we had others over here, you would see, and it does individual little cross sections between, each
Okay.
connected pair. That's what a fence diagram is. In fact, let's see, here we go. Just give you an example. Let's see how it has these little individual cross sections between all of the different boreholes. So each one of these intersections represents a borehole.
Okay.
And so it connects these all together, and it's sort of a two, well, and you see the different strata underneath. So it connects them all together. Now you might notice here some of these green one, and it sort of tapers out to a point
Mm-hmm.
because there's no green over here.
Right.
And that's what they call run out or pinch out on that strata.
Okay.
And there's different rules now, but see here, sand, shale, and carbonate, all that kind of
Okay.
stuff. So that would be, if we had all that data in our database, we would see things like that, and it would create you actually tell it the lines you want to look at, and it uses all of these are the individual drill holes, the bore holes, and it sampled all the strata. And so it took all that and it's basically building a 3D model. And the fence diagram is looking at individual cross sections through
Okay.
that composite three-dimensional model. So it lets you see, in between how that stuff is changing around. Okay. So that's what we could have had if we had that. Uh, let's see here. Let's go back to top view for that. And then we'll come back here. So we could have had all that done for us, but we don't. We didn't. So I'm going to just take these two models that I use, but that's what these tools are for. So it
Okay.
reads the data and builds all that. So, but we don't have that data in our file.
Profiles, yeah.
Yeah. We don't have the strata information. When he built the sticks, he drew those. He did that out of Ghent. So I don't know if Ghent is looking at a different file than the one we're looking at to be able to draw those sticks or what. I don't know how that was particularly done. So anyway, what we have here, let's see, this is, yeah, 0 is 60. All right, so when we, these are just the labels. They are in the proposed geometry file. Okay. So again, that was referenced, turn these all into alignments. So there they are. Now, remember when I earlier, let's go back now to open roads and look at this. Where did my alignments go? It's T811, SRO 18. Oh, it's under reference model. Get this to open. There we go. And there's the referenced file. And within that file, it has these individual alignments that I defined. Okay. So that's all information accessible to me. All right. And so remember before I drew that line,
Right. Yep.
connecting those up, and then I
Mhm.
went up here to geometry. I did this report and I
Right.
said, station offset base report
Mhm.
and it made me pick that line. I couldn't use those individual points. Well, what I discovered is that I could also done a horizontal, uh, I'm sorry, not a station offset base report, but a point feature offset elevation report. And when you do that, so I'm going to come over here and I'm going to select all of these alignments, or not alignments, but rather my boreholes.
Mhm.
So I'm going to select here, and then I'm going to select all of these, put them in a selection set. So I select them, right click and choose select. So it's now selected the boreholes.
Okay.
And then I said, give me the point feature station offset elevation report. So when you do that, it asks you to locate the baseline element. So what I did this one here first, and it said data point to accept the selected elements. Otherwise, it prompts you to select them individually each time. But since I pre-selected, I just hit a data point.
Okay.
And now it comes in, there's their station and offset and elevation. However, these are the reports that are also available to me. And I went down here and there's one that has offset northing and easting. There's one that has station, offset northing, easting, and elevation. That's what I wanted, right? And so it gives me all of this. And so I just came up here and I said, save as Microsoft Excel.
Hmm.
And that's what did these individual ones like station or SRO 18, station report, which is individually that. And I did some things like, well, in fact, let me show you what I did I did a little bit of reformatting is what happened. So back from here, let's do that again. We'll do save as Excel, and we're just going to call that one. Let's see, where's my, I was up here. Let's just call that one test. Okay, so I did that for each one, and then for like T811, I only used B1 and B2.
Okay.
For T813, I used B4. For T1049, I used B5. They did not include B7 on any of the alignments. It's closer to this one, so we had the information there. But then B8 is tied to this alignment
Hmm.
as well as this one, and then B9 to the main line. All right, so I did that for each of those individual ones and then added them all together into this one. These are the ones that we needed. I didn't do the other alignments because, you know, they're not being used. These are the ones from that email that said these are the ones
Right.
that go. All right, so now when I go back to this, this comes up in this particular form. And you notice there's no point information, and this column here is wide, and that's because of this reported information in here. So all I did was, let's enable editing, and I took these two cells, cleared them out. I took this and cleared that out. I went here to look at the row height, got that, copied it, and set this row height. I could have just deleted the row, but anyway, I put that down. So I'll paste that in. So now that's going to shrink that back up.
Okay.
Then I did, uh-oh. Yeah, I did too much. That's what there we go. Then I took these two things, I changed I just put a little shading on to flag it. Then I took this column feature, which I didn't need. I just deleted the column. I took all of these, set them to right justified. Then I took all of these and I set their decimals. I increased them, you know, to make them all read out to 4 decimal places.
Right.
And then I took all of these columns, double click the boundary, and it shrinks it all down. Now this, oh, and then also I did like a B1,
Hmm.
B1, and then just dragged it down and it, you know, or I put in, you know, there's 1 and 2 on 811 and,
Right.
you know, 5, so whatever. So I had to number these in here because that information was not contained as part of those points. There was no description um, on those point features, like if they were survey points.
Right.
So anyway, that got that. And then I renamed this to SR081, and I said, move or copy, and I moved it to that all alignments thing, and then said move to the end. I had okay, and then it would have, in fact, if I just say move or copy, we changed to this other open file. That was my all alignments file. Move to the end. Say okay. Oh, no, shared. Nope. Okay, fine. Got to turn sharing off. Unshare the workbook. Yeah, so you got to turn that sharing on and off. So now it's unshared. All right, now after I renamed it, this tab down here, I moved to this open file, moved to the end, said okay. And when it does that, it closes off that file, but I did a save before, so I kept it in the state it was in. And see, now here is that, and you see it's the same
Right.
data,
Yep.
but just the date's different. So now I'm just going to delete that one. That was just show you what I did.
Nice.
All right, so
Good job,
here's,
Ken.
what's that?
Good job, Ken.
Oh, yeah. All right, so here is our information
Okay.
that we're going to keep referring to. Now, the elevations came in from the first time when I was here. Those elevations were from whatever Jeremy had in this list over here, like B1 had that elevation, but notice that 1306, 27, 26, that is the same as, let's see, let me get rid of that. So I went here and individually copied 1306, 27, 26, went over to here. Now remember, I had to open the connection in geotechnical, so it's open now.
hmm
So then I selected that and pasted it here. And I also found the actual borehole itself, as if you're, uh, you select that borehole and look at its properties.
Right.
And I opened up this origin and I pasted that same number into here. So all of the elevations on all our boreholes are now matching from here, which is from the survey. That's BHS state.
Right. Yep.
The X and Y, I did not do yet. The X and Y are from Jeremy stuff. We're going to try to find out when he gets back and
Right.
can call me where he got that information and let us know whether or not we need to update
Right.
our red marks to match his, or we need to update his to match our red mark. Because these red marks are exactly where this X and Y is. And I also went back and individually set the same thing for this one. You see that right there. I pasted the elevation because they were slightly, not slightly, those were the ones that were 100 feet off.
Right. Right.
So I went back and just changed them individually to bring them up to the right elevation. And you notice I'm actually in a 3D model. Actually, this 3D model I don't even really need. This default model is 3D. If you look at its properties, you see it is a design dimensions 3D. So that one, this particular file, borehole locations, I made as a 3D DGN. And so that's why that comes in. That I'm just looking at it in plan view. So, if I were to, spin that thing around like this and then zoom extents, you would see down there's all of that
Yeah.
data down there. And then this stuff is
So both of those are set on coordinates then.
That's the alignment. That's 2D, but it's, yeah, they're all set on coordinates. Now, let
Both
me
of
see.
them, the one that's there and the one at the bottom.
Yeah, no, these are at 2147483 elevation wise. That really should probably all be set to 0. I don't know why. Let me see if I can. Let me see here. All right. I lost the rotation. Let's set this to dynamic. All right, so now if I rotate view by 3 points, I'll go from here to here and then just up to, oops. I'm in top view. Just draw a line here. All right, now let's rotate view by points here to here and then to here. There we go. Now, I'm not sure that was the, yeah, I think that's the right orientation. All right. So yeah, so that's there. So all the boreholes are in. If I look at that, see this is way up here. I don't know. I tell you why that happened was when I referenced this file, that geometry file,
Mm-hmm.
it it got referenced in at my current elevation, which is my active depth. Oops. Crap. Active. Active Z depth, selective view. And see down here where it says 2147.
Mm-hmm.
See, if I had set that to 0, these would have gone in down at 0.
Right.
Okay. So I really should have done that up front. It doesn't matter at all. It doesn't make a difference now. I'm just looking at it in plan view, but that's why it's sitting up way up in the air like that. Um, so normally you would see those down at 0 and these up at their elevations. What you see rotating this around, these are still around 1300, but these are like way up in the air.
What about the one at the bottom then? When you scroll out, there's more data at the bottom. You know, when you did your zoom extents.
Well, that's because I was rotated and the
Mm-hmm.
stuff at the bottom was all of this stuff.
Oh, okay. All
They
right,
were
gotcha.
down and they were down here at
Right.
1300 and these were way up here at 21
Oh,
million,
okay,
whatever
okay,
it
okay.
was. Okay.
All right,
That's
gotcha.
why. Yeah. So again, in plain view, it's not going to matter. So now this particular file that I've referenced is a 2D file. That's where all alignments have to come out of a 2D model.
Mm-hmm.
So that is fine. That's where I built all those things and they're referenced in there. So they're now available. And that lets me do things like when I select these, then I can select, one, two, and four. I'm just control clicking, then right click and choose select. And now you see there's one, two are selected, three is not, but four is.
Right.
And then I ran that report, which was my point feature station offset elevation report. Let's just say this one as my alignment data to select to accept the selected elements. Otherwise, it prompts you. So now there would be one, be two, and be four. And but I went down here and then went to two below. So I get station offset, northern, eastern elevation. Then I went to file, save as, Excel, did that little, took out, this long stuff here and this note here so I could get my columns to squeeze up. I just did a little reformatting like that. So that's how that spreadsheet was all put together. And so that now gives us all the information that we're going to share with Jeremy and ask him, why
Yep,
these
exactly.
northings and eastings are slightly different. What should I do? Move yours to mine
Right.
and to the survey locations, or do we just fudge the survey locations to match yours? Like, which is gospel?
Right, exactly.
And the survey locations I would tend to say are gospel, but
Yeah, I would too.
I don't know how they were surveyed. If they were surveyed with, a good, a total station, I'd believe it. If they're surveyed
GPS, yeah.
with a handheld GPS,
Mm-hmm.
like a little Garmin walkabout when you're hiking, that's not all that accurate. Um, a GPS rover survey equipment like the surveyors use, that is accurate. So I would accept that. And so then I would move the X, Y, blah, blah, blah for all of the blue
Right.
ones to match our red ones. But what I want Jeremy to understand is when we do that, he's already done a bunch of reports and stuff where he's used those old coordinates.
Right. And it'll
Go
change.
back and redo those reports with the new values in it. That's what we need to get from him. But for now, we have all that information. Okay. So now, with that being said, we're going to go back to this, which is where we brought these things in. Let's just go to the model. And remember, he made us the sticks, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And he made the sticks in this file called, and I set up B1 and I put a little trim boundary around it. And then I just copied it inside of here. And I did it for B2 and I did it for B4. And when you do that, when you first of all take this one when it came in, it was ever so slightly, it was not on the same place XY, but the elevation part of it was a little off. So I moved that right to that intersection there when I moved that. Then when I copied this one, then B2 is at its right elevation, but I had to move it horizontally.
Mm-hmm.
And remember, when you move these things, you move the reference, you go from here. If you're using AccuDraw, you see you can lock on that axis. So that moved,
Right.
I just locked it to that and then snap to that corner, or you don't even have to, you could go snap right to it if you reference that point, go right to that thing. All right, so each one of those individually. Now, what happened was in the original file, remember he gave them to me as just evenly spaced and tried to fit them all on that same
Right.
sheet.
Yep.
Well, what happened was there was a lot of overlap. These things were jammed. Now let me turn this grid. See, that was the original, and it was all jammed together. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I moved, see that 1285. So I moved everything to 1285, and the scaling is already correct at 5. So we're not having to change that scaling when we reference those into our model. But each one of these, now I'll turn that profile grid back off. So each one of these was, jammed up together and this stuff overlapped. So what I did was I spread them out so I could get a boundary around each one of these individually. And then that was what I see. Now that's gravel, bituminous concrete, gravel, gravel, A4. So slightly different
Mm-hmm.
gravels.
So could you
All
put
right,
could you take each one of those though and create its own file that you just ref in, or
you could,
is
you
that more?
certainly, yeah,
I'm
you
just saying,
certainly could.
is that more time
It,
consuming or is it? I don't know. That's why I'm
it's
asking.
not so much time consuming as you just have to keep track of it all separately.
Okay,
But that's certainly the way you could do that. He could give us a stick file for each individual sheet.
and then just reference those into where they got to be on the actual the ground or
Yeah,
that.
well, the problem is when he gives us this sheet, the X location doesn't apply to anything. It's only the elevation that's really applicable because he
Okay,
put them in there as evenly spaced and I had to spread them out so the words didn't overlap. So
okay,
I could put the boundaries around it.
okay.
So that worked out for us to be able to then reference into like this. And so if I were to have, say, once this comes back up. So if I were to have in this file, or once we load up the other profile sheet with the other streets that it's going to be those other ones that are going to line up on, then when I reference this, and notice I put that in at 5:1,
Mm-hmm.
but when I reference that one, let's just do this one again, as we're going to copy this. Well, wait a minute, first of all, let's take this and we'll just offset over this way a little bit, say here. And we'll take this and offset him. Whoops. Say something like that. Then I did a trim to intersection. I did this to this. So that gave me the intersection. And that's based on this, the station and the elevation. Now I had to take like 7 or 9 plus 40. Well, let's go to T 813. 20 plus 2151. That's where B4 goes at this elevation. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so that's where I took this elevation difference from 1300. That was that mark, multiplied it by 5, offset it up to there. And then I took this 20 plus and I took the 2151. So I offset the original 20, which is right here, 21.51 feet over because that's not scaled horizontally. And then I did the same thing here. So if I had another entry that was at this station and this elevation, then that would give me where that goes. And then what I did was I copied this. And when you copy it, you have to give it a from and to. So I'm going to just say from and to. So it's now right back where it is. And there's B1. And let's just change this to be something so we know. So we would call it whatever it is. And then I would delete the clip. Okay, so now there's that file. Now I'm going to move it. So let's say it was this one right here. So I'm going to move it from here to right here. So I snapped to the midpoint of the stick, moved it to the end point of that line. So that's now in place where it's supposed to go there. And then I would come up here and draw a little fence by shape. And I would just do that. Select the reference, right click and click boundary, data point to accept. And now that's how it gets placed in. So that elevation is from the surveyed elevations. Remember, I pulled it from this spreadsheet.
Mm-hmm.
And the stations are from the station offset reports that we ran for each of those individual alignments. Okay, so, and again, where that stationing is based on where the blue circles are, not where our red circles are. That's what we
Right.
need from Jeremy. And if he says move the blues, then we have to go back and recompute these different placements. All right. So I'm going to delete that. And I'll just delete these. Whoops. Get the book. So now that makes that one. Now I'm going to walk you through doing this for the next sheet. And the next sheet, let's go back to the email here. Let's do to T11, B1, B2, and then B4. That we've already done. Now SR, that's the main line. He's only putting 3 on the main line. See, 7 is nowhere in here. That's fine. So these 3 on the main line. So let's do that one next. And then we do the same thing for 1049 and 901. Okay. So we need to find the main line profile. And that happens to be, let's go here. Let's look at the construction plans. Yeah, and these station values that he's come up with here, again, are from the nearest cross sections. All right, so let's bring this over here so you can see it. And let's find out where profiles are. So here's SR 118, the first sheet. And I see that it is in this file called PR-01, profile 1. All right. So that's in profile 1. There's profile 2, profile 3. There's proposed side road 01. That's the one we've just been looking at. All right, so we've got 1, 2, and 3. And I don't know which sheets are going to take that on. Let's go back to the email. It's on the main line. So three is at 482, 488, and 492. So 482 will go on this sheet. 488 goes on this sheet, and 492 go. Well, so we did. Each one's going to have one.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So that tells us what we're going to do next. And that was PRO1, PRO2, PRO3. So we're going to do this very same thing here, staying in our model, and we're going to attach. Well, I said I was going to attach it. Let me save all this. I'm going to close this file. I'm just going to get out of Open Roads altogether. Okay, now let me close. I'm going to close off all of these. Files other than just my window. And I'm going to have you share your screen. So I'm going to stop my share. Now, do you know how to share your screen yet?
Yep, share.
Then select the
And
monitor that it's on.
yep.
And then choose share at the bottom again. There we go. Now I'm going to bring this over here. So hang on a quick second. Let me reply to something. And there we go. All right, now, all right, so you've shared your screen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to put you back over on my other screen so I can see it better. Oh, there we go. All righty. So now I'm going to request remote control in case I need it. So you can go ahead and give it to me and then I won't do anything with it there.
Okay.
All right. So now go ahead and click to start or let's see. Let me see. All right. Now, so go ahead now and open up Open Roads Designer and let's open that file, which was the profile sheets. And if you need to get into that navigation, it's easiest to go to his email and just copy and paste that into, or actually in your email, it might be a link. All right, so here it is. Now your work set, pull that work set down. Does it? Well, you can leave it at that. That's fine. It'll ask you if you want to switch it. It's fine. It'll be all right. All right, so you're going to find it's going to, now you have to browse to it. So it's going to be the profile sheets. Now you're in this test location. I'm going to have you go live.
Okay. So we're
So
going P drive.
yeah, drive P. And if you remember where all that is, navigate your way to it. I normally just use the link. There it is. And then soil profile. Yeah, Piles Workspace projects. The name,
Excuse me.
there it is. DGN. And now under working. The working has our main files. We got that the overview really no longer applies, but the plan sheets has the overview model in it. but we want the profile sheet. So go ahead and choose that one and open it up.
This one.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah, you see where it says it came from the work set that I had.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to use yours, which says test. That's fine. All right, now you've got your tools in a little different location. Your models are on the right. You've got that level display open on the right. That's fine too. I would close that off just to give you some more real estate.
This one
See that?
here.
Yeah. You can always do that by this icon right up here. This, see when I
Okay.
click
Yep.
that,
Mm-hmm.
brings that back up. All
Okay.
right, so I would just turn that on and off as you need. Now you can zoom and move around, do everything you want. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to reference in that PR01. So you go to your attached tools reference. There you go. And if you just hit the main button, it brings that up. You don't have to use a pull down little thing. All right, now we have here side road 01. So you're
Mm-hmm.
going to click just in the empty, or yeah, just anything there, and choose attach. And you're going to find the file. Now you're in working, so you need to go up one level. And there's DGN. Now scroll down and find that PR01. There it is. And you're going to open that up. Now change that coincident world over there to interactive.
Okay. What does that actually do?
That's going to bring up the properties dialog where you can set the scale and the boundary and the look and set the view that you want to use. Because we're going to just place this view in directly under this one. So we're going to
Okay.
say open.
And then so what is this one here though?
Well, the coincident world brings
Right.
it in at the exact coordinates that it is
Okay. Gotcha.
in. All
Okay.
right.
All
So
right. Ready?
now, yep. So open. Now, uh, they do not belong to the active work set. Do you want to continue? Yes. Just say okay. All right. Now, so it's going to come in at a 25 scale. That is the horizontal scale of that profile sheet. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
And you see, if you choose those different, and now, first of all, the model, if you pull down the model at where it says default, if there were multiple models in there, you could choose individual models, but the
Okay.
default is the main model. So that's the only one we got. Now, down below in the orientation where it says view,
Mm-hmm.
open up that standard views, and you're going to want the top view. And we're going to place this top view here in a minute where it goes. And right up there where it says logical name and master model, notice mine, I
Mm-hmm.
don't think I changed that, but go ahead and change that logical name to PR-01. And then also change master model and the description to PR-01. Sometimes you'll leave that description alone so that it reminds you of what model it
Right.
is.
What it was. Okay.
So that's fine. Now down below, we've got the detail scale. Uh, if you pull that down a minute, that 1 inch equals 25, and choose 1 inch equals 20, and then go back to 1 inch equals 25. Yeah, go back to 1 inch equals 25. Why is the master and reference scale? Oh, I know. It is 1 to 1 because we're not, because our model that we're in is also at a 25 scale. That's why it's coming in at 1 to 1.
Okay.
Now, down below, let's see, you want live nesting and you want that nesting depth to be 2.
And how do you know that?
because I know that that PR01 has not only the data, but it's referencing in all the geometry from separate files, and it's referencing in the boundary, the sheet border.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to say okay to that. And now it's going to ask you, see at the attached reference, enter the center point for view top of reference. So move that references, drag it down out of the way. All right, now scroll down a little bit. And we're going to give it a center point. So I'm going to show you a little technique. If you snap, let me see. Do you have, let's see what your snaps are set to.
They're right over here. Oh, you're
Uh,
gonna okay.
I don't see it. I want to see
Snaps
this.
are to the left on the bottom.
Yeah. All right. So you're on two. So you're going to get midpoint. So that's fine. All right. So now, um, so what we're going to do is we want the midpoint of that to line up under the midpoint of this. So if you're going to hover right there till you get that, don't
Okay.
click it yet, and type the letter O to set the origin.
Mm-hmm.
You just type O, and does it come up with anything else?
I'm not seeing the O.
Well, all right, just go ahead and snap it right there. No, you don't see the O, you just type the letter O. That's an AccuDraw
Okay,
short.
so I'm gonna put O.
Yeah, just type the letter
I
O.
did. Now
Okay.
now
Now
click.
drag straight down and stay locked on that axis. Drag straight down.
So do I click the mouse?
No, not yet. You set the origin. Now draw straight down and come down where, keep coming to a little further, like right there. Now click there. All right, so that has now set that file, the center of the top view. Now you see in that file, this is really what we want
Mm-hmm.
to be there. So the center of our top view was there. We got it in the center. So that, we could have really placed it anywhere. But now we need to move this so that the center of this is under the center of that. All right, so we're going to go to our reference list again. We're going to select that PR01. Oh, double click that a minute and hit the browse button. I forgot to check this. Did we say, yeah, save relative path is on. Okay, so cancel that. I just wanted to make sure it's saving relative path. All right, so now, yeah, cancel that. All right, and so now you're going to just right click and choose move. All right, it's going to ask you from and to. All right, so get that out of the way. And now you're going to go up there to the middle of the border, scroll up to the middle of the border and grab the midpoint right there. Click that. So we're going to move from there. Now scroll back out. Now go back to the bottom, scroll into the bottom of the other one that's there. And let it hover there. Now type O.
Okay. O.
Now go down. And all right, that's enough. You don't have to be much further than that. There's maybe a little closer up, a little closer up. You just want enough separation, right? Right in there. That's fine.
Click.
Click. Yep. Okay. Now right click to accept. All right. So now we've moved our reference.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now let's clip that reference so that we don't have all that other crap going on. Let's go ahead and do a zoom extents. And you see all that plan view stuff that we don't need that's also in his reference. So let's
Mm-hmm.
go back up to our sheet and let's draw a fence, and we'll use by block instead of shape. And then just click to go around to the lower, yeah, get outside those two dots. Go, you don't have to snap to, you just need a little bit. So here, just we're going to set a fence. We're just going to be slightly outside of these two dots. So I'm going to go from there up to here.
Okay.
Okay, so now the fence is set. Now back to your view dialog. Right click. I don't see your dialog. Go to your view, open up that references, rather, not the view. Yeah, right click that and choose clip boundary. And now it says accept or reject. So out in open space, just data point.
Just click.
Yeah. All right. So now go back to your attached dialog. And you can, if you click off of it, let's see. So we've got that there. All right. So, yeah. Okay. So now we're good. You can go back and set a fence. Just click the fence tools again, just to clear the fence so you don't see it. And now go back to the element selection pointer. All right. So now here's one thing to notice too. You see these operator file name $file.
Mm-hmm.
We have them also, but I also have them here. But if you look on our sheet, I've added, and this is right on the sheet model. It's not
Okay.
referenced anywhere. This model name B1, B2, B4. So we're going to copy and paste that from that sheet model to these next sheet models. These others are going to file, and they're going to get filled out. This file, $file, gets filled out based on our pen table.
Location.
And these $4 date, $3, and time dollar get filled out based on in the plot dialog, but that gets filled out based on this. So if you edit that PDF table, and that comes in with this PD_PDF.
Yeah, here's where it
All right.
would come in.
Yeah. So see, that's where if these characters equal, there's your $4 date, $3, then characters equal side time. And then there was,
So this script actually runs and just puts the stuff on the sides of the actual plans.
that's correct.
Okay.
But I don't know the scripting language well
Right.
enough to create that. And it's hard coded into this particular thing here.
Okay.
Now we've also got this printer driver configuration. If I edit that
Oh,
printer driver configuration, you see it's got these flat and round, which that should really be
okay.
set to mitered beveled. Weight maps, we should have line styles, we should have. So those may be okay. I would say we would change that. Well, we'll just leave it as it is and see what it looks like.
Okay.
Um, but we'll close it off. All right. So now back to our default model. So that's what we're going to do. Now, what we need to do with all of this information is see, he's got this one called level reference clip boundary.
Mm-hmm.
Notice it's white and solid. Ours is blue and
Mm-hmm.
dashed. And that's because I've already defined
Hold
in
on.
this level definition, drag it over if you need to,
Yeah.
under side road border reference clip, I assigned a color, this and
Okay.
this. Okay.
Right.
So you're going to do the same thing here is you're going to take the border, which was pin.road border reference clip, you'll make blue
Blue. And then dotted
and
line.
two, was it two or one? I forgot. And then zero, two or one. Let's see, this one was
Two. Two and then one.
one. Okay. All right. So that's now going to make that
Match.
match. And that now the reason you see that one, it looks sort of whitish,
Mm-hmm.
is it's also got this border, from this other referencing that it did.
Okay.
All right. Now, Up in here was where we changed these sheet numbers, and they're going to have to give those to us. We don't know yet what they are. And here they are again. Now, if you look at that, you see that it is in the border sheet, and it has its color is by level, its weight is 2. And I think what I set these to was selected by level, and its weight was 0. Level 1 set to 0. But then over here was where I redefined that to match. So we'll set all that once we get there.
Okay.
Um, all right, so that's that. So the border gets referenced as long as that's the same reference as that, everything's going to match that, except you have to redefine those colors if you change them. All right, so now we've got things like this. We've got this, and if I select that, notice it has a hard-coded color and a hard-coded weight.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want that to be, we want those to all be by layer so we can
Okay.
control them when we plot. So what we'll do is this. We're going to go to anything that we see. So let's just focus right in here. So if you select just that piece of text, now right click, select it, right click it. What's going
Nothing
on?
on the right click.
All right, press and hold right
I,
click. There you go. Now see where it says activate?
mm-hmm.
So you go activate for that. Okay, so now you are effectively in that file. So you're going to just draw a crossing window. So go to the like upper left, like here, and drag to the left
Okay.
so that it gets everything that's in our file. Let's see, are we in? Yeah, we're in their file. So we've selected everything, but these won't have any effect because we're not changing anything there. Now let's go up here to our change properties
Mm-hmm.
button or change attributes. And what we want to change is the color and the weight. Make sure they're both by level. And now over here, accept or reject. So we get accept with the data click. So now everything's there. Oh, I wanted to make sure we're not viewing level attributes. Good. Okay. All right. So now we've done that. Now you're going to right click again, just in the blank space, and choose deactivate default. Okay. So now hover over the text, and you see that reference was PR01.
Mm-hmm.
Now hover over the some other pieces like like that. Make sure it's the same. That's PR01, but you see it's a sub reference. You see it says
Right.
profile SR118.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to select that and right click and hold and choose activate, and then go to the right and go to the second one there. There you go. So now you're in that file. And now instead of doing that crossing, just choose select all, which is that button right here. See this over to the left or to the right, all the way to the right in that row. See that right there, select all, select all. Now, go to the change attributes and accept that. Okay, and now you can click off of it to deselect. And now right click and choose deactivate default, and you'll come back to your view. All right, so now we've set those two particular files, and I don't know if there's any others. Go back to your attach dialog. And let's take a look at the sub-level attachment. So in that first icon on the left, all the way at the toolbar, in the toolbar, up,
Mm.
going up, right? No, 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 no. Right there, right there. Go back and go to the left. Get off. Yeah, just click that. So that's going to show the hierarchy. So now you're going to open that up and then open the, or yeah, drag that out. And so now under PR01, open that up. So we need to change, we had profile SR118, which we've already done.
Mm-hmm.
Road border, it's the existing geometry. That's all off screen. And then the axis. So I think we're all right. So now just go back up and select the top level in your hierarchy where it says profile sheets. Click on that. Now click the button back off. No, no, you don't have to do that, but just right there. Yeah, there you go. Now you can close that. All right, so let's hover down over the grids at the bottom and see what file that's in. That's PR01. Let's select that. Go ahead and click on it. Yeah, it's by level, so everything's good. No, everything's good. That's fine.
Okay.
All right, where it says datum 1270, click on that. And that's also by level. Yeah, so axis title, everything's good. All right. Now you notice like right down in here, they've got a little bit of clipping where they should have had that slightly over. I'm not going to change that. That's what they had set up. So I'll just
Okay.
leave. They scooted it over because of this right here. They
Okay.
want that in. And so that's fine. Now we've got a number of things like this is the existing ground. This is the profile design. And we're going to set those to match these up here by color. So by color and style. So if we go to our level definition and we look at our proposed side road and look at this Meeker Street, let me get this out of the way a little bit. If I hover there, that is in Meeker Road realigned level 0. All right, but I gave it a hard-coded 2. And by level. Okay, so what we'll do is we're going to go back now. Let's turn this back on. Let's go back down to these and we're going to select this. Right click, hold, activate, go to that one. And we're going to give that a hard code 2 because it's on a layer, it's on a level. If I change that level. All right, so that's now there. That's set up. And we will deactivate. We're going to come up here and find this, which has a color 4 level 2. All right. The color 4 level 2. Now, if I do this color 4 level 2, let me see. So this level is C algo line. All right, so back to this. If I open these up, I can see here I have C alg 0 line is 4, center line. It doesn't matter because it's a hard-coded 0, but a weight of 2. So down here on hours, C alg 0 line, we're going to set that to be
2.
yellow. But now, see this color table?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't match our color table. So we have to fix that first. So I think we can do it from here. I'm not sure. So I'm in that file. I may have to open the file directly. All right, so I'm in that file. I'm going to go to my backstage here with the file, change my settings, my color table. Yeah, and when now I'm going to pull this down and choose default and
Okay.
attach. And now I'm going to save settings. And now I'm going to deactivate default. And then back to our
Color.
layers and
Ours.
profile 118.
The line.
Line should
Arrowed.
be, no, see, it didn't stick. All right, so we're going to have to temporarily, I'm going to, instead of activate, I'm going to exchange.
Change.
And that puts me in the file at that
Okay.
zip location. I'll go backstage, settings, color table.
Table.
Well,
It did keep it though. That's the
it kept it.
maybe, maybe it didn't save the settings.
No, it kept it. Let me see. There's something else going on.
You want me to try to go back?
I just, well, to go back, I'm just going to choose this.
Yeah, I got there's it's hold on, Ken, let me do it.
All right. There you go.
Yeah, that the button for drawing for Zoom was right over that.
Okay.
The little pencil.
Maybe it's our file. I don't think it's our file. If I go to backstage here, settings, color table. No, it's good.
The reference doesn't have to be updated, right? With like it's got the pencil eraser and the references, or does that matter?
I don't think so. Let me see.
Okay.
Can you click
Yeah,
that arrow? All right. So if we go here,
I can only stay to 4 tonight too. I have the grandson.
oh, okay.
Yeah, I hate to
Yeah.
be a bummer.
No, that's all right. All right. So we go here, but this is basically it. Um,
Go to ours, right? Did it
so
change it though?
yeah, but let's see, if I looked at hours and we had that as 4
4
and
center
2,
line.
so the center line won't matter though because it's standard. So
But then
here,
yeah, so it's
oh,
4.
it says 4, and that right there, that won't matter because it's hard coded as 0.
Okay.
All right, so that has now, yeah, that updated. All right.
Okay. All right.
So we're going to do the same thing and like say these we'll change like this is a level 1 is 0, so we're going to make level 1 have a weight of 1 instead of 0.
And that's the pen weight you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So level 1 right here. This is 2. Maybe it's in this one. What file is it in? PR1. PR1. level 1 is 2. What level? Oh, just number 1, not level 1. These people. All right, so now when I select it, it should say 1. It does. All right, so we've now set that text up, and we would do the same thing now. And I'll work on this later after you have to go
Okay.
to square this thing up. And I'll, set this like, are there two things here? Yeah, there are. So there's two lines there.
Is it a
One,
double or is it like
yeah, one's level 0. So we probably should, let's just come down here to our axis. It's not that.
did it say it was the profile?
There it is.
0.
Let's make sure we're not turning off anything we need.
Just that,
Ah,
yeah, just the dotted line at the end.
all right. What level is this on? Level 0. All right. So what we're going to do instead of that is we're just going to select this, right click, activate, and we're going to select the level 0 line and delete it. There we go. Now right click and deactivate. All right, so that's what we're going to do with that. All
Okay.
right, now real quickly, let's add in that the borehole that goes here. Okay.
Okay.
So let's go back to our
Attach.
attach. And you see that, well, before browsing to it, just take the one that says before. First of all, which is the borehole? Is it one, two, is it three, I think, right? It's three. So just select the one in any one of those and right click copy. Now it's going to ask you from and to. So go pull this box out of the way a little bit and just go from the corner of the upper no corner of the upper yeah, on the one above it. No, that one. Yeah, go from that. Yeah, see that little dot?
Mm-hmm.
Just click
Okay.
and then go down and get your dot. No, no, no. Go down to the bottom because you're copying it from one to the other. There you
Right.
go. Right there.
Then
Okay.
click.
Yeah, yeah, right or left. Yeah, right click. Now where it says, wait a minute. What's this PR01? Oh, no, here's this B4. You've got it in here twice. All right, so we're going to take one of these out. All right, so this one, if you just double click it, see up here with B41 and all that, highlight
Mm-hmm.
those or just take out -1 and make it -3. And then go down to description and put B dash or B. I'm sorry, not B4-3, B-3, B-3. And then down there, make it -3. Now hit OK. Now that's going to make it easier to identify when we see this list. So that's B3. Now you see where it's located. See the little boundary around it and zoom in up on your
Mm-hmm.
drawing right in there. See where it's located. So that's where it is, but that's our frame. So we want to highlight it, which in our list right there, select it, right click and get rid of the boundary. Delete,
Clip,
flip. And now accept it by
clicking out
clicking.
here.
Yep. All right, so that's that. And we need to move that to where it's going to go in our station and offset.
Okay.
Okay. So we need to do a little bit of work here. I'm going to close this attach dialog off. And we need these references. So I'm going to select this.
That green thing is up there.
Yeah.
If we want
Let's
to
see.
move
I'm
that.
going to get
Okay.
all of that. I'm going to hold control. I'll go
Missed that
back.
green one. Yeah, missed
I
the
know.
green one.
I didn't want to get that.
Line.
There we go. There. All right. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to copy it from there down to here. I'm going to type O and I'll just scroll out here and do that.
Okay. Now, could you have done both of those up there from the other one at the same time?
Yeah, but what I need to fix this because this is now
Okay. Okay.
1270.
Okay. Okay.
So
Yeah.
7580, 8590. So this is going to go back to
Okay.
95. This one is going to have that weight of 5. And this one will make. All right, so that's 1270. So 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, 1300, 5, 10, 15, 20. So there's my 1300 line. All right. Now we need to know the station for number 4. So let's go back to your, go to your what File Explorer
Mm-hmm.
and look in the, yeah, right there. And you want that BH station report all alignments, XLSX. Right there, double open that up. Now, because we're working on SR18 profile, that's the tab at the bottom we want to be on, which we are.
Mm-hmm.
And we see B5 is a station of 13.
We're working on B4 though, right?
Whoa, whoa, wait a minute. No, these should be in the 400s. What the heck? We may need to redefine
Because
this.
we're working on B4, right?
No, 1, 2, and 4 are on the first sheet. 3 is
Okay.
on the main line.
Okay.
So it's 9 plus 4231. That's not right. Where is your, see, these are like in the 400s. Oh man, I must have.
Well,
No, it's,
I hate to
I'll go
leave you.
back and fix that. All right. So anyway, if it were, let's say, what do we see it was? It was
9 plus 42,
9
31.
plus 4231. So what we would do is let's just call this one let's say it was here. So we would take one of these guys here, and I'm just going to select that, or I'm going to Alt select it. That sets my current. So I'm going to copy that, and this is my guide stick,
Okay.
from here to, let's say, right there. And then we would copy parallel, whatever that was, 9.41,
Third.
let's call it
Okay.
31,
I thought it was 932.
32. Okay, whatever it is. Because I'm gonna make a copy. Um, it's wherever it's
Right.
once I got to go back and change all those. And then you're gonna do another one. We're gonna take we'll just place a line from here. There's my 1300. And what was the elevation we saw was
13, 16, 36.
1636.67. So that times 5, 1336.67. Yeah. So I'm going to just copy this because I can use the math. So I'm going to copy from here. I'm going to go up. I'm locked there. And I'm going to say 1336.67. And you see down in the lower right where it's typing that in on
Mm-hmm.
the y-axis, I'm going to say
Right.
times 5, hit enter, and then just click the mouse. So that's now 1305, 10, 15. So that's 13. What did we say it was? 13.
13, 16, 3, 6, 6, 7.
Did I do it right? 13, 5, 10. No, it should be up here. 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, 13.
Yeah, 13, 16, 36, 67.
That, if I want to copy from here, let's go up. And when I'm on that axis, 13. Oh, it was 16. It's 13, 16,
Right. 13, 16, 36, 67.
36, 67
Mm-hmm.
times 5. There, that's better. So there's 13, oh, 5, 10, 15, there's 16. All right, so those two lines now, we're going to come up here and trim to intersection. So we trim this one and this one. And that's where that drill hole is going to go.
Okay.
Notice it's above the existing grade.
Right.
So, so what we're going to do is, then it was B3. So now you're going to come over here and you're going to select it. You can just, if you select anything in that reference and then right click and say you can, uh, let's just right click and then you can move reference. That's the same as if you selected it from your reference dialog and chose move.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to move the reference. Now we're going to move it from the middle of this line right here.
Okay.
And we're going to go to that intersection right there. And now, what do you need to do?
Now you need the clip. We need to actually draw it
Yep.
around it and then actually clip it.
Yeah, so there you would draw the clip, draw the fence, do it by shape this time so you can,
Yep.
get this. Now, all of this is really to no avail,
And then go in and you actually right click
and that is B3, right click, clip
and then
boundary,
clip the boundary.
click, and then click off, and then that, so that sets that up. All right, that's how you do it. Now, this station and stuff is bogus. I'll go back and work on that.
Okay.
So for that, I'm going to, we'll go ahead and let you get out of here and let's reconvene in the morning. We'll try to get to it earlier.
Okay. Sounds good.
To wrap it up. All right.
All right, Ken. Thanks for your help.
You bet. All right. We'll, oh, let's see. First of all, while you're here, let's save the settings. And I'm going to go ahead and exit this so I can go back into the file.
Right. And then
And
yeah, Yep.
There we go. Now I'll click this off. I'll end the meeting. Have fun with the grands. I'll see you
All
tomorrow.
right. See ya. All right. Bye.
Bye.